Another fine cow died this afternoon. Amelia Stewart was born in Boston. That was where she met Joel Knight, who had come from England and was studying to be a doctor. They got married and a few years later headed west to Iowa. In 1853, after 16 years in Iowa, they packed their goods in a covered wagon and headed west again. By now they had 7 children. Amelia Knight kept a diary of their 5-month journey. The actual diary, in her handwriting, can be found at the University of Washington Library. Here's some of it. Wednesday, July 27th. Another fine cow died this afternoon. Came 15 miles today and have camped at the boiling springs, a great curiosity. They bubble up out of the earth boiling hot. I have only to pour water on my tea and it's made. There is no cold water in this part. Sunday, July 31st. Cool and pleasant, but very dusty. Came 12 miles and camped about 1 o'clock not very far from Boise River. Monday, August 1st. Still in camp, have been washing all day, and all hands have been all the wild currants we could eat. They grow in great abundance along this river. There are 3 kinds, red, black, and yellow. This evening, another one of our best milk cows died. Cattle are dying off very fast along this road. We are hardly ever out of sight of dead cattle on this side of the Snake River. This cow was well and fat an hour before she died. Cut the second cheese today. We have just bid the beautiful Boise River with her green timber and rich currents farewell, and now we are on our way to the ferry on the Snake River. Evening. Traveled 18 miles today and have just reached Fort Boise and camped. Our turn will come to cross sometime tomorrow. There is one small ferry boat running here, owned by the Hudson Bay Company. Have to pay $3 a wagon. Our worst trouble at these large rivers is swimming the stock over. Often after swimming halfway over, the poor things will turn around and come out again. At this pace, however, there are Indians who swim the river from morning till night. There is many a drove of cattle that could not be got over to the other side without their help. By paying them a small sum, they will take a horse by the bridle or halter and swim with them. The rest of the horses all follow, and by driving and hurrying to the cattle, they will almost always follow the horses. Sometimes they fail and turn back. We have to make it a drive of 22 miles without water today. Have our cans filled to drink. Here we left, unknowingly, our Lucy behind. Not a soul had missed her until we had gone some miles, and then we stopped a while to rest the cattle. Just then, another train drove up behind us with Lucy. She was terribly frightened and said she was sitting under the bank of the river when we started, busy watching some wagons cross, and did not know we were ready. It was a lesson for all of us. Friday, August 12th. Lost one of our oxen. We were traveling slowly along when he dropped dead in the yoke. I could hardly help shedding tears when we drove around this poor ox who had helped us along thus far, and had given us his very last step. Thursday, August 18th. Commenced the ascent of Blue Mountains. It is a lovely morning, and all hands seem to be delighted with the prospect of being so near the timber again, after the weary months of travel on dry, dusty sage plains, with nothing to relieve the eye. Just now the men are hallooing till their echo rings through the woods. Evening. Traveled 10 miles today, and down steep hills, and have just camped on the banks of the Grand Ronde River, in a dense forest of pine timber, a most beautiful country. Friday, August 19th. Quite cold morning, water frozen in the buckets. Traveled 13 miles, over very bad roads, without water. After looking in vain for water, we were about to give up as it was near night, when husband came across a company of friendly Cayuse Indians about to camp, who showed him where to find water, half a mile down a steep mountain, and we have all camped together with plenty of pine timber around us. We bought a few potatoes from an Indian, which will be a treat for our supper. The last entry in Amelia's diary came on Saturday, September 17th, when they were in Oregon. A few days later, my 8th child was born. Never in the diary had she mentioned being pregnant. After this, we picked up and ferried across the Columbia River, utilizing skiff, canoes, and flatboat to get across, taking 3 days to complete. Here, husband traded 2 yoke of oxen for a half section of land with 1/2 acre planted to potatoes and a small log cabin and lean-to with no windows. This is the journey's end.